Assalamu alaikum everyone. How are you? How are you doing, Rumesa, Aliha? Thank you for being on the time. Thank you for being regular, Aliha, Rumesa. ठीक है, जो भी स्टूडेंट्स बेटा टाइमली क्लास ज्वाइन करते हैं, थैंक यू सो मच. राइट, अच्छा. चलिए बेटा हम स्टार्ट करते हैं. एज वी हैव वेरी लेस टाइम, इसमें जो है हम कम क्वेश्चंस कर पा रहे हैं, तो हम आज कोशिश करते हैं कि हम अभी से स्टार्ट करते हैं. अच्छा बेटा, वी हैव completed 3 questions of this paper, which is 509022 अक्टूबर नवंबर 21, राइट, वेरिएंट 1 है. अच्छा, इसका जो है बेटा क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 हम आज सॉल्व करते हैं. दिस इज रिलेटेड टू द रिप्रोडक्शन, जिसमें स्टूडेंट्स को प्रॉब्लम भी होता है. ठीक है, स्टूडेंट्स हमें ज्वाइन कर लेंगे, हम जो है इसको स्टार्ट कर देते हैं. अच्छा बेटा, hope so the screen is visible. You can let me know through a text message in the chat box. Question number 4 आप बेटा देखिए. A study investigated the probability of pregnancy resulting from sexual intercourse on specific days of the menstrual cycle. Right, the graph shows the results of this study. इसमें देखिए percentage probability of the pregnancy and time आप देखिए बेटा, टाइम जो है ovulation, अच्छा before 1 day of the ovulation, days before ovulation are taken on the x-axis. इसमें आप देखिए बेटा 1 day before ovulation there are more chances. ठीक है, अप्रोक्सीमेटली जो है दिस इज 40. अच्छा, आप 2 days बिफोर देखिए, इसमें क्या है, देर आर 35% और 34% चांसेस ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी. एंड आप जिस तरह देखिए बेटा, एज द टाइम इज गेटिंग अवे फ्रॉम द ओव्यूलेशन, तो इसमें जो चांसेस फॉर प्रेगनेंसी है दे आर डिक्रीजिंग. द रीजन इज व्हेन द एग इज रिलीज्ड ऑन द 14th डे और एट द मिड ऑफ द मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल, तो egg जो है बेटा, it can survive for 3 days after its release, right? And when the egg is present on the day of the ovulation, it's 14th, 15th, 16th or mid of the cycle, whatever the mid of the cycle of a person is, उससे पहले जो है 2 to 3 days, because sperm can also survive for the 3 days, they're also living for the 3 days, and for the fertilization of the pregnancy to occur, both the egg and sperm should be present and they should be living. ठीक है, लिविंग सेल्स होने चाहिए. तो स्पर्म जो है बेटा, इट कैन सर्वाइव फॉर द 3 days, राइट. आफ्टर इट्स रिलीज इट कैन सर्वाइव फॉर 3 days. अगर आप देखें कि इफ इट्स बीइंग रिलीज 3 days बिफोर द ओव्यूलेशन, ठीक है, 3 days अगर बिफोर ओव्यूलेशन ये रिलीज हो रहा है, तो इट विल बी लिविंग ऑन द दिस थर्ड डे बिफोर ओव्यूलेशन, सेकेंड डे बिफोर ओव्यूलेशन, फर्स्ट डे बिफोर ओव्यूलेशन और फोर्थ पर इसके बेटा चांसेस कम होंगे, बिकॉज यू कैन सर्वाइव फॉर द 3 days, इट विल बी वीकर और देयर चांसेस कि स्पर्म की डेथ भी हो जाए. अगर आप देखिए कि 2 days बिफोर जो है ओव्यूलेशन अगर स्पर्म रिलीज हो रहे हैं, देयर आर 100% चांसेस के दे विल बी प्रेजेंट ऑन द डे ऑफ द ओव्यूलेशन. बोथ एग एंड स्पर्म विल बी प्रेजेंट, तो फर्टिलाइजेशन के चांसेस ज्यादा होंगे. इसी तरह अगर आप देखें कि ओव्यूलेशन बेटा जहां पर भी हो रहा है, मिड ऑफ साइकिल 14 days, चले हम कर लेते हैं, हम एवरी साइकिल को डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. इफ द egg is being released on the 14th day, right, and sperms are injected even after 2 or after 3 days of ovulation. ठीक है, यहाँ पर हम थोड़ा सा बेटा जो आफ्टर ओव्यूलेशन सिचुएशन है उसको भी हम ऐसे ही कंसीडर कर लेते हैं. If the sperms are being released after 1 day of ovulation, so there will be maximum chances of fertilization because egg is living, right, or sperm भी living होगा after 1 day. अच्छा, same will be on the second day. Second day पर भी आप देखिए egg is living और sperm भी living होगा, तो there will be again the maximum chances. थर्ड डे के ऊपर हमारे पास थोड़े से कम हो जाएंगे और फोर्थ डे के ऊपर बोथ. ठीक है, एग जो है ना, इट विल नॉट बी लिविंग इफ ओनली द स्पर्म इज बीइंग इंजेक्टेड एंड स्पर्म इज प्रेजेंट, तो इट विल नॉट लीड टू द फर्टिलाइजेशन. होप सो. ठीक है, यार ये बात बेटा आपको क्लियर हो गई होगी. अब हम देखते हैं कि व्हाट इज एक्चुअली द एग्जामिनर आस्किंग. ये हमारे पास ग्राफ हो गया, इसमें बेटा जो मैक्सिमम हमारे पास प्रोबेबिलिटी है फॉर द फर्टिलाइजेशन, दैट इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली, लेट्स यूज द स्केल. ठीक है, दैट इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली 40. यस, ठीक है, जो हमारे पास मैक्सिमम है दैट इज 40, राइट. अच्छा जी, मैक्सिमम 40 है. अब हम देखते हैं कि व्हाट इज एग्जामिनर आस्किंग. The study shows a probability of 20% that sexual intercourse 3 days before ovulation will result in pregnancy. 20% बेटा chances हैं 3 days before ovulation. ठीक है, this is the third day before ovulation. Let me highlight a different one. This is the third day before ovulation, and they are saying at this time there are 20% chances of sexual intercourse. Right? Probability of the pregnancy are 20% chances. Let's see कि बेटा कितने हैं. Third day के ऊपर, yes, approximately it is making 20%. ये आप देखें कि 20% चांसेस है ऑन थर्ड डे. अच्छा, इसमें बेटा मैंने आपको 20% चांसेस क्यों है, क्योंकि जो स्पर्म है इट विल बी लिविंग फॉर 3 days. ठीक है, एंड इफ द स्पर्म इज बीइंग रिलीज 3 days बिफोर ओव्यूलेशन, तो ओव्यूलेशन तक देयर आर चांसेस कि स्पर्म विल बी डेड. ठीक है, तो ओनली एग विल नॉट कॉज द pregnancy. Both sperm and egg are required. अच्छा, अब हम देखते हैं state how many times more likely pregnancy is if the sexual intercourse takes place 2 days later. ठीक है, थर्ड डे जो है हमारे पास बेटा कितना है, थर्ड डे के ऊपर जो है दिस इज 20%. यहां से हमने देखा है इफ इट टेक्स प्लेस 2 days later. ठीक है, 2 days later हमारे पास क्या आ जाएगा, दिस इज 1 day later. ठीक है, एंड दिस इज द 2 days later टू दिस थर्ड पीरियड. सो 2 days later के ऊपर यहाँ पर हमारे पास दिस इज कमिंग टू बी 40%. दिस इज probability for the pregnancy are 40%, and this is actually the twice to 20%, right? Twice or double, or overall you can write down 40%. This is for 1 mark. चलिए नेक्स्ट हम बेटा देखते हैं इसका. एक्सप्लेन द रोल ऑफ द नेम्ड हॉर्मोन्स इन द मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल ड्यूरिंग द डेज इन्वेस्टिगेटेड बाय द नेम्ड हॉर्मोन्स हमने लिखने हैं. ठीक है, इन द मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल. तो इसमें बेटा हम स्टार्ट करते हैं फॉलिकल स्टिमुलेटिंग हार्मोन से. ठीक है, फॉलिकल स्टिमुलेटिंग एस्ट्रोजन, प्रोजेस्टेरॉन. ठीक है, जो फर्स्ट है दैट इज फॉलिकल स्टिमुलेटिंग. Okay, first is the follicle stimulating hormone, right? And follicle stimulating hormone, this is required for the maturation and growth of, this is required for growth and maturation of follicles. One function is enough. This is for 5 marks. One will be for the name and one will be for the function, right? And next is estrogen. Estrogen, and this is required for the repair of uterus lining or uterus wall. Repair of the uterus lining, or instead of uterus lining you can write down this is required for the repair of the endometrium, right? थर्ड जो है बेटा, थर्ड इसमें हम प्रोजेस्टेरोन भी लिख सकते हैं. ठीक है, ल्यूटेनाइजिंग हार्मोन भी हम लिख सकते हैं, ल्यूटेनाइजिंग हार्मोन. एंड दिस ल्यूटेनाइजिंग हार्मोन दिस इज रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द ovulation. What is ovulation? It is the release of, this is release of egg from ovary. Okay, or if you are just going to write down ovulation, that is also sufficient and it is also going to give us the marks, right? अच्छा, इसमें आप बेटा देखिए this was for 5 marks. We have written 3 hormones. Name are also going to give us the marks, and their function is also going to give us the marks. Do not write down the abbreviations like I have written. You're going to write down their full name: follicle stimulating hormone, estrogen, luteinizing hormone, and there is also another hormone which is the progesterone. उसको बेटा हम डिस्कस कर देते हैं. ठीक है, which is the progesterone, right? And what is the function of the progesterone? It is required for thickening of the thickening of uterus wall or thickening of uterus wall, or you can write down endometrium. Only one function is sufficient. No need to write down more functions, right? So these are beta 4 hormones, and these are the functions which are performed by these hormones, which are involved actually in the menstrual cycle, right? This is for 5 marks, and writing 4 along with the functions. This makes 8 mark question, which we have attempted. ठीक हो गया? चलो बेटा हम इसका नेक्स्ट पार्ट देखते हैं. बी. द डायग्राम शोज अ fetus. It shows a fetus developing in the uterus of a pregnant female human. And let's see, we have to identify what is the structure. X, you can see this is the umbilical cord, right, which is connected to the belly button of the fetus. And on the other side, this is connected to the uterus wall, right? This is the uterus wall, and this is connected to the uterus wall, and in between them there is a connection which is known as the placenta. So X जो है बेटा आप देखें, this is basically placenta, right? This is the placenta. So let's see what is the examiner asking. Name the structure X. Okay, we have to name the structure X and describe the function of this structure. Structure is basically, okay, structure is placenta. This is placenta, and question is for 3 marks. ठीक है बेटा, ये भी देखें, question is for 3 marks. एक member जो है वो placenta का हो गया. बाकी जो है for 2 marks we have to write down the functions. At least 2 functions are required. ठीक है, तो इसमें बेटा क्या होता है? It is responsible for diffusion of oxygen. ठीक है, ये बेटा कहां से जाता है? From mother to fetus. ठीक है. अच्छा, इसके अलावा बेटा ऑक्सीजन के अलावा क्या डिफ्यूज हो रहा होता है इसमें जो है? इट्स ऑल्सो रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द ट्रांसपोर्ट और डिफ्यूजन ही आप कर लेते हैं. ठीक है, डिफ्यूजन ऑफ न्यूट्रिएंट्स में जो है ग्लूकोज प्लस amino acids, right? They are also dissolved from mother to the fetus. So you can write down in one sentence that it helps in diffusion of oxygen and nutrients. You can mention the nutrients, glucose and amino acids from mother to the fetus. So here we will be given marks for the oxygen and the nutrients. ठीक है, 2 marks हमारे पास हो जाएंगे. अच्छा, इसके अलावा जो है बेटा it also carries the waste material back to the mother. ठीक है, वेस्ट मटेरियल्स में क्या होता है? इट ऑल्सो, ठीक है, कैरीज कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड और डिफ्यूजेस कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एंड वेस्ट मटेरियल में यू कैन राइट डाउन यूरिया, राइट, फ्रॉम इट विल बी मूविंग इन द reverse order. It will be moving from fetus to mother. ठीक है. अच्छा, 4 हो गया हमारे पास. नेक्स्ट है बेटा, इसमें देखें, it also helps in producing, it also produces progesterone. It also produces progesterone, राइट? ठीक हो गया बेटा. इसमें जो है लेट्स सी कि ये हमने कितने मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट किया है. यू कैन सी हियर प्लेसेंटा, दिस इज गोइंग टू गिव अस 1 मार्क. प्लेसेंटा का हो गया. सेकंड आप देखें बेटा, इट हेल्प्स इन डिफ्यूजन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन का अनदर मार्क. and glucose and amino acids overall or nutrients, they are going to give us the second mark. यहाँ पर हमारे 3 marks complete हो जाते हैं. But also mention the molecules which are diffusing from fetus into the mother, like carbon dioxide that is being diffused from the fetus to the mother, and waste material, mention the waste material like urea, it also, ठीक है, it also diffuses from fetus to the mother. Back हो गया, ठीक है, और mother से fetus में oxygen and nutrients are being absorbed, right? The center is responsible for this. So let's move to the next question. Okay, this is related to enzymes. Some laundry detergents used to wash clothes, right? They are used to wash clothes containing contain enzymes. These enzymes break down the molecules that causes stains. Suggest enzymes that may be component of the laundry detergents that will break down the stains of the starch and the fats. We know that which enzymes are used to break down the starch, that is broken down by amylase, right? Starch is broken down by amylase, and fats are broken down by the lipase, and for removing the stains of the proteins, proteases are present into the detergents, right? This is 2 marks, 2 हमारे पास complete हो गए. अच्छा बेटा, next आप देखिए 7ase is a protease. They have given you a protease enzyme. Mention the protease enzyme. 7ase is a protease enzyme that which is genetically produced from the genetically engineered bacteria, right? That is genetically produced or produced through the biotechnology. 7ase, this is the protease. The enzyme is a component of the laundry detergent, right? Enzyme is a component of the laundry detergent. The graph shows the result of an investigation into the effect of temperature and the pH. ठीक है, इसमें हम देखते हैं बेटा, these graphs are showing the effect of the pH and the temperature, right? Shows the results of an investigation into the effect of the temperature and the pH on the rate of the 7ase activity. This first graph is the graph of the temperature, right? And this is the rate of the 7ase, or let's see at which temperature it is showing the maximum activity. This is showing maximum activity at this value. ठीक है ये बेटा, this is at this value. अच्छा, इसी तरह इसकी भी हम देख लेते हैं at which pH this is showing the maximum. This is showing at this value. ठीक हो गया, and this is the pH. This is approximately this one or 9. Okay, so yes, it is working at 60 temperature, the temperature at which 7ase is giving the maximum activity, showing the maximum activity, that is 60 degrees centigrade, and it is working at 9 pH. ठीक है बेटा, इसकी जो pH है that is 9, and the temperature, optimum temperature for this enzyme is 60. So let's see what is examiner asking. Okay, describe how the effect of temperature on 7ase activity differs from the effect of temperature on a protease that functions in the human stomach, right? अच्छा, इसमें बेटा we have to write down the effect of the temperature. pH का भी नहीं पूछा होगा. They have just asked about the temperature at which the pepsin or the protease in the stomach works, and the temperature at which the 7ase works, right? So temperature, human enzyme works at 37 degrees centigrade, and this is working at okay, human enzyme, right? Or stomach protein right? It works at 37 degrees centigrade, right? While the 7A's optimum, its optimum temperature is 60 degrees centigrade, right? और इसमें जो है बेटा आप देखें, if the okay, this is a 60 degree centigrade at which you can write down the human enzyme at 60 degrees centigrade, or at which human protease will denature, right? So this is for 3 marks, and we will be given 3 marks. One will be for the optimum temperature of the human protease, which is 37. Another will be for the optimum temperature of the 7A's, which is 60, and one will be for the denaturation of the human enzyme at the optimum temperature of the 7A's, right? चलिए नेक्स्ट हम इसका पार्ट देखते हैं. Just why the laundry detergents that contain 7A's also contain chemicals that dissolve to form an alkaline solution, right? It also contains some of the chemicals which will form the alkaline solution. Why the alkaline solution is required for the 7A's? Here the second graph is giving us this graph is giving us a hint. आप इसमें देखिए बेटा 7A's is working at 9 pH. So 9 is the alkaline. So for the optimum functioning of the 7A's, 9 pH is required. This is the reason that the chemicals which make the alkaline solution, they are dissolved into the laundry detergents, right? So इसमें बेटा हम लिखेंगे this is for 2 marks, right, to provide the alkaline conditions or optimum. Okay, इसमें हम बेटा क्या करेंगे? 7A's we know के 7A's जो है बेटा it works, ठीक है, works at 9 pH, right? So to provide optimum pH, right, and for maximum activity of 7A's, right, or to prevent it from denaturation. If the pH will not be alkaline or acidic, there are chances it will denature. To prevent it from denaturation, right? This is for 2 marks. ये हमारे पास हो गया, right? और for maximum activity, और यहाँ पर बेटा हम ये भी लिख सकते हैं for cleaning the clothes, for producing the more effective results, ठीक है, उस पर भी हम लिख सकते हैं. या if you are just going to write down producing maximum activity, that is also correct, right? So यहाँ पर आप देखते हैं कि it works at 9 pH, right? So these are added, they provide the optimum pH, right? And optimum pH is required for the maximum activity of the 7A's, and this optimum pH also prevents them from the denaturation. If we are going to provide the acidic pH, there are chances कि ये denature हो जाएंगे, right? इसका बेटा हम next part देखते हैं. After washing clothes using laundry detergents, the waste water is sometimes released into the environment, right? Achha, this waste water contains inorganic phosphate ions that are also found in the fertilizers. Explain the harmful effect on the aquatic life of releasing this waste water into the environment. अच्छा, अब आप बेटा इसमें देखें कि अगर हम न्यूट्रिएंट्स ऐड कर रहे हैं, न्यूट्रिएंट्स जो है इसमें रिलीज कर रहे हैं एटमॉस्फेयर में, तो ये क्या करेंगे? They will cause the pollution, ठीक है, they will cause pollution, right, and they will cause the eutrophication. Right? If continuously the phosphate ions or any other nutrients are being added into the atmosphere, it causes the eutrophication. What is the eutrophication? That is the enrichment of, it could be of soil or water, or you can write down overall ecosystem, right? Or ecosystem will include all, it will include water, soil, air, ecosystem, enrichment of the soil or ecosystem with nutrients. Right, this is the eutrophication. Okay, if the more nutrients will be present, then what will happen? The bacteria which are present into the, let's discuss it according to the aquatic life. Yes, they've also asked for the aquatic life, so there is no need to write about ecosystem or soil, हमें लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है, just write down water. Okay, अच्छा, इसमें जो है बेटा, what will happen if the water is enriched with the nutrients, right? If the water is enriched with the nutrients, so what will happen? जो aquatic life होगी, aquatic life में आप fishes, aquatic life में bacteria are present. ठीक है, हम स्टार्ट कर देते हैं. ठीक है, bacteria, they will use nutrients plus oxygen, right? They will use these and they will reproduce. As they are using oxygen, so there will be less oxygen present. Less oxygen will be present, right? And less oxygen will be available, less fishes will breathe aerobically, or it will lead to death of aquatic life, and it will disturb the aquatic food chain, right? And this will disturb aquatic food chain, right? अच्छा, दिस वाज बेटा फॉर 4 मार्क्स, और हमने जो इसको ज्यादा अटेम्प्ट कर लिया. ओवरऑल जो है हमने इसके सारे पॉइंट्स देख लिए हैं. मैं आपको दोबारा बेटा एक बार रिवाइज करके बता देती हूँ. आप देखिए, द वेस्ट वाटर कंटेन्स inorganic phosphate ions that are also found in the fertilizers, and we have to explain the harmful effects of the aquatic life of releasing this waste water into the environment. If we are going to release these nutrients into the atmosphere, into the water, they will lead to water pollution first. ठीक है बेटा, इससे क्या होगा? It will lead to water pollution. अच्छा, इससे बेटा water pollution हो जाएगी first. Second, आप देखिए, it will lead to eutrophication. What is the eutrophication? That's the enrichment of water with the nutrients. उसमें कौन से nutrients ज्यादा हो जाएंगे? Inorganic phosphate, या जो इसके अलावा अगर इसमें कोई present है तो they will be added into the water. अच्छा, because of these nutrients, bacteria, as nutrients are used food by the bacteria, so if the nutrients are present, bacteria will use them as a food and then they will reproduce, right? And if they are reproducing, they're also using aerobic bacteria. Aerobic will be using oxygen, right? And if they will be using oxygen, less oxygen will be present, right? Less will be present for the fishes. Less fishes will breathe. There are chances कि जो fishes हैं बेटा उनकी death हो जाएगी, and in this way overall aquatic life जो है that will be disturbed, right? Okay बेटा, ठीक है, हमारा टाइम जो है क्लास का that is also completed. Naima, you have joined very late. ठीक है, also dropped a text message. If you have any problem, guys, you can ask. Okay, thank you beta. Thank you for being the part of the live session. I'm going to sign out. Take care. Allah Hafiz.